Dear friends, after the virtue of patience, we discuss today a very important virtue, tiny but very important, called longanimity. And it's a long word, longanimity, that reminds us of magnanimity. Similar, magnanimity, greatness of heart, greatness of animus, of soul, of spirit, and longanimity is related to that. It's not just a great heart, but something like a long heart, a heart that endures long sufferings. Um, in this time of virus, is more necessary than ever because this virtue is necessary when we lose the sense of our journey. In the virus, we think that we have always been here. We forget that our life changes, that we were in a good place before, that we will be in a good place later. So longanimity is especially necessary in this time with the virus when we think that we have always been here with this suffering. And longanimity is also necessary in our times of instant gratification when we just press a button and we can buy everything with Amazon instantly. Everything invites us to buy now, here, without waiting, without the necessity of time. I want it and I want it for now or for yesterday. So longanimity is the virtue of the pilgrim. When we tend towards something that is very far, and is the virtue of this journey of hope. You can think about the vows of marriage when we say for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. The virtue of longanimity is also related to the farmer that knows that there is a winter and a spring and a summer and a fall. The virtue of longanimity is related to the story of that king that wrote in his ring that sentence that will be his salvation always. And what he wrote in the ring was, "This too shall pass." So what is longanimity? Longanimity is a heart that is long, that endures, and it's ready to be long and to wait for a long time. So I have this gift of longanimity and this virtue when I am able to endure what is long, and I can open myself to the grace of God and don't despair. Longanimity helps me to understand that my situation now belongs to a long path, to a long journey. So in a long path, in a long journey, like in the Camino, the way of Santiago, you have uphills, downhills. You have the beauty of the sunrise in the darkness, and then the beautiful mornings. But you have also the noon, when the sun is hitting, and you have the plateaus and the dark valleys when you think you are lost, and then the summits when you see all this horizon. Different moments in our life. And this is longanimity. When I know that after this difficult situation in my marriage, there will be, another time, another stage of flourishing. When I know that in my relationship with my dad or with my child, this current situation is part of a longer and whole journey. Right? So, in difficult times, longanimity helps me remember this too shall pass. And in great moments, I can also remember with longanimity that some suffering will come. So longanimity allows us to think about our life as a story, as a whole, not just a picture, a photograph, but much more like a video, a story that God is writing with me and in me. So the virtue of patience helps me to endure and is focused on the difficulties and the sorrow that comes with these difficulties. And the virtue of longanimity also helps me to endure, but by helping me to look at the goal, at the good that is at stake here. Building a communion of persons with my spouse, with my child, with my dad, with my sibling, it's a long path, a long journey. So longanimity helps me to wait for the time, and in the meanwhile to be active, waiting. I remember the good times of the past, of the future, and I also remember the difficult times. Um, so how to grow in longanimity? We need to exercise memory, to remember where was our marriage 5 years ago, 2 years ago, where was my relationship with this person in the past, and then to imagine the future. Where will I be? And it's an exercise of imagination with the Lord. Lord, where are we going to be in our marriage? Because now really, we find this difficult challenge. Where will we be in the future? So we ask the Lord the virtue of longanimity. A soul, a heart that is very long and endures and knows that this moment belongs to a large path, a journey. St. Thomas Aquinas talks about longanimity when he talks about the cross of Christ. And contemplating the cross of Christ, he says longanimity is represented in the vertical wooden beam. Because this wooden beam is strong, immobile, stands fast, it cannot be moved, it will not fall, and it points toward heaven. So this vertical wooden beam shows that Christ was patient during his life, and on the cross he waits for us, and he invites us to live with our gaze heavenward. So through grace, the divine gaze, God looking at us, will one day meet our own gaze. And there will be this union of love when we are longanimous, when we have this virtue of longanimity, because we participate of this perspective of God. God looks to us from on high, so he can see like the whole journey. He can see us in the beginning uphill in this nice plateau. He can see us and he can accompany us. So the key is to look at our life and our relationships with this perspective of unity that has been accomplished in the life of Jesus. Jesus grew, Jesus learned, Jesus taught, Jesus preached, he worked wonders, he suffered persecution, died, and is risen. So everything is accomplished in the life of Jesus, and we can read our life, our relationships, with the perspective of the life of Jesus. I finish with St. Paul writing to the Ephesians when he was a prisoner for the Lord, and he was urging the Ephesians to live in a manner worthy of the call they had received. And he tells us, Ephesians 4, with all humility and gentleness, with longanimity, bearing with one another through love, striving to preserve the unity of the Spirit through the bond